What-ho! If you're wondering why the sofa is clouded with all sorts of things, by the 23rd of June it will be the holiday or the vacation. That's why I have covered my face for this opening surprise with my Bon Voyage Tesco Bank Euro money. Nearly €500. We didn't weep. Also, that's the reason I will not be responding or commenting or replying to the comment section for a week. As of the 23rd of June to a week onwards, I will be on holiday. So I will be busy for a while. That's pitiful. Well, that's a pity, but regardless, that's how things are made, baby. Oh yeah. My main topic for this video: the Super Saiyan 4 is weaker than the Super Saiyan God. If you think this topic is a bit out of the ordinary, out of the blue, or weird, I should point out YouTube has a lot of scumbags. Out of all those YouTube scumbags, there's no YouTube scumbag more prevalent, or local, or common than the Nostalgia Critic. Other than the Nostalgia Critic, Sargon of Akkad. But other than Sargon of Akkad, Seth the Programmer. But other than Seth the Programmer, H-Bomber Guy. But other than Seth the Programmer, most prevalent and most common, and all around the most evil of all YouTube scumbags, the biggest of all YouTube scumbags is CinemaSins. Other than CinemaSins, a full list of what I can describe is over 1,000 YouTubers. Most YouTubers are complete scum. But I was inspired to make this video by a scumbag that was called the Super Saiyan 4 guy, who has changed his name to the Super Saiyan 4 Warrior, even though he is a human and therefore not a Saiyan. The guy is one of those Super Saiyan 4 fanboys. First, I should point out why the Super Saiyan 4 is not as powerful as the Super Saiyan God. Even if you highballed the Super Saiyan 4 and lowballed the Super Saiyan God. The SSJ4 was introduced in GT, and GT is officially or unofficially 400 times more powerful than Z. And Super Saiyan 4, or SSJ4, is 4,000 times base form. Therefore, compared to Goku by the very end of Z, that is 400 times 4,000, or several million times multiplier. Meanwhile, Dragon Ball Z's introduction of the character Vegito, that is Vegeta times Goku. Their power levels in their base form by the very end of Dragon Ball Z is around 60 million. So Vegito, being Vegeta times Goku, is a 60 million times multiplier. Considering that Gogeta is Goku plus Vegeta times dozens, that means Gogeta by the end of GT is more powerful than Vegito base form, but is beaten by Vegito Super Saiyan. Especially as Vegito was introduced again for Dragon Ball Super. I count Narc as a 20 times multiplier, so by the time Vegeta was reintroduced, Vegeta would have been around a trillion times multiplier. Gogeta would still be Goku plus Vegeta times dozens, therefore basically a 120 times multiplier. That is why the power scaling in Dragon Ball Super Broly is far too off and must be destroyed. Or the people who made the film, they must be destroyed. Then there's the Super Saiyan God transformation that was introduced by Dragon Ball Super. As I've already explained, to destroy a planet, you need a power level of around 10,000. There are a septillion planets in the observable universe. Therefore, as Goku and Lord Beerus were destroying the universe, Goku Super Saiyan God, or SSJG, being just 1% of Beerus, as Lord Beerus did say they are using 1% of their power, that means Goku as a Super Saiyan God would have been 1% universal. So septillion planets, or 10,000 septillion, or 10 octillion, that is the power level needed to destroy all the planets. Then you times by 1,000 for the space in between planets. Then you divide by 100. Then you have the power level of Goku as a Super Saiyan God by the very beginning of Dragon Ball Super. Therefore, you just have to take Goku's power level by the very beginning of Dragon Ball Super. I count an arc as a 20 times multiplier. So Goku in their base form by the beginning of Dragon Ball Super would have had a power level in their base form, of course, of 60 million times 20. So, Super Saiyan God, the power level that is needed to blow up all those many septillions of planets, that is times 1,000 for the space in between, then divided by 100, as it is 1% universal. That power level needed, then divided by the power level of Goku in their base form by the beginning of Super. That means the Super Saiyan God transformation is an 83.3 quintillion times multiplier. If you think a septillion, or if you think a multiplier of a quintillion is far too much, you could go with Seth the Programmer's idea of a multiplier. The scumbag YouTuber Seth the Programmer, who uses internet memes instead of logic, thinks Goku in their base form as they were fighting Majin Buu was this many times planetary or galactic level. Then, as they would have been like 70% or 50% of universal, the YouTuber Seth the Programmer went with Goku being either 70% universal or just 1% universal compared to, or just percentage compared to Lord Beerus, the God of Destruction. But Seth the Programmer has gone with a multiplier of over 1 billion. That's not all that much, as I count an arc of training as a 20 times multiplier. So, a power level of 60 million times 20 times 20 times 20 times 20 times 20. That's for the very end of Dragon Ball Super. Or just times 20 times 20 times 20 times 20 for the fourth arc of Dragon Ball Super, when Vegeta was reintroduced. Vegeta in their base form, that would have been a several trillion times multiplier. Therefore, Vegeta circa the Goku Black Arc would have been as powerful as a Super Saiyan God, or as Goku was as a Super Saiyan God as it was introduced. So, the Super Saiyan God is a quintillions of times base form, or billions of times base form at least. And if the Super Saiyan God or Super Saiyan Blue is weaker, perhaps you could go with, I think this may be a fan theory, or it might be a theory I come up with and it's original, but regardless, I think somebody mentioned how Akira Toriyama, the creator of the Dragon Ball franchise, mentions that Goku as a Super Saiyan God is a 6, and Lord Beerus is a 10. This being power scaling for the film Dragon Ball Z Battle of Gods. But power scaling beginning with 6? I think somebody has pointed out how the 6 may refer to the multiplier. That is not 6 compared to 10. That is a full 6 digits of a multiplier compared to a full 10 digits multiplier to be as powerful as Lord Beerus, the God of Destruction. then you need a 15-digit times multiplier for Whis, the attendant angel. Of course, it can't be for the power level, as it can't be the power level. Goku in his base form fighting Lord Frieza had a power level of several million. Also, this means the Super Saiyan God would have been probably a 6 million times multiplier. So, around a tenth as powerful as Vegito in their base form. Even if they were equal to Vegito in Vegito's base form by the very end of Dragon Ball Z, that means the Super Saiyan Blue is basically Vegito Super Saiyan Blue. Of course, then times 20 because it's an arc later. So Vegito base, a tenth of Vegito base form, then times 20, so 2 times Vegito's base form, then Super Saiyan Blue would have been twice Vegito's Super Saiyan, so that would be like Vegito as a Super Saiyan 2. So that's not much of a multiplier, it's not all that realistic. I mean, considering that characters like Goku and Vegeta as a Super Saiyan Blue are ripping holes in a dimension, that would be universal, or percentage universal. So yeah, also there is a fan theory that Gogeta in GT may have been part Super Saiyan God, because of the transformation or the fusion having a ritual that copied the Super Saiyan God ritual. Plus, their hair is red instead of brown or black. There could be a connection, but just in case, I would say Gogeta is not part Super Saiyan God. That would open up an entirely new can of worms. Perhaps Gogeta was accidentally false Super Saiyan God, so half as powerful as a Super Saiyan God, or half the multiplier. That would be like a 40 quintillion times multiplier. So that would explain how they managed to beat Omega Shenron so easily. However, the multiplier for Gogeta, if it is person plus person times dozens, that is a good enough example or explanation for why Gogeta was more powerful than Omega Shenron, as it's basically Shenron beating up a Super Saiyan 4, or Shenron fighting all of these many Super Saiyan 4s, just several, then having to fight a guy who's worth around 60 or a few dozen Super Saiyan 4s. Also, I go for the fanfiction Dragon Ball Absalon. For the Super Saiyan 5, I count Super Saiyan 5 as 100 times the Super Saiyan 4. I read somewhere it may have been 100 times the Super Saiyan 4. Plus, that would explain why I think Zycor in a fanfiction, who may have been in the Super Saiyan 4 in the Super Saiyan 5 transformation, was beaten by Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, as it would have been 100 times the Super Saiyan 4 versus a guy who, judging by the math, would have been 60 or 120 times the Super Saiyan 4. Most likely 120. As of the power scaling for Dragon Ball Super Broly, the power scaling is pathetic. I mean, Gogeta in their base form was rivaling Broly, as Broly has just beaten up Goku and Vegeta as a Super Saiyan Blue. No. Super Saiyan 4 guy, Akira Toriyama. No. Power scaling is a thing, so grow up. Now. That does also not explain the Kefla fusion, as it would have been basically Goku and it would have been like Vegito if introduced for the arc, but multiplied by 50 and multiplied by a 50,000 times multiplier. I count legendary and potential unlocked and rage boost as a 1,000 times multiplier. It's quite simplistic and it's quite clean. Better in this video. The Super Saiyan 4 is weaker than the Super Saiyan God.